I'm not huge into making sure we have the festivals and all those kind of things. I want to empower our people to use the gifts they have and serve where God's planted them. So what I want to see is men and women who come to church here, they have kids that play sports, go serve on the sports teams, go coach, go umpire, go do something in the community that you're good at. And find that place and love people in that spot where God has placed you.
Hey there, welcome to Two Pastors Unplugged. I'm Rick Probst. What a pleasure and privilege to talk to Pastor Brad Asbury from Millen Baptist Church. Now, you may know where Millen is. I did not, and I've been in Georgia a long time, but what a pleasant surprise. It looks like, it looks like it's been around for a while, but it looks like a cool place to visit. Pastor Brad, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today, Rick?
I am doing great. Millen Baptist Church, we spoke earlier, and it is a beautiful church. I was watching one of your videos, and you got a great congregation there. How long have you been there at Millen?
I've been here for 8 years now.
8 years. Now,
hmm
where were you previously?
I came from Glasgow, Kentucky. So
Go,
long move.
go Wildcats, right?
That's right. We're big Wildcat folks.
He's got an A on his shirt today, so we know that he's been indoctrinated here in Georgia, right?
That's exactly right. Big Atlanta Braves fans.
Yeah, my oldest son, who is 36. He bleeds Braves, and I took him to the old Fulton County Stadium back when it was still around, and something happened when he was just a little kid, and he was just like, I love the Braves, and still today he's a huge Braves fan. Well, I'm glad that you are in Georgia, and I'm glad that God is using you so mightily there in Millen. Tell us about the congregation, the church.
Yeah, we're a predominantly an older congregation. We're starting to see some young families starting to come in, but our community itself is largely a retirement. We might want to call it a retirement community, an older community, but very thankful for what the Lord is doing here. We're a traditional congregation with the choir and the piano and those kind of things, but we've got a people that love the Lord deeply and growing as often as we can.
Now, you said you've been there for 8 years. Um, what's special to you personally about the congregation that you've served now for 8 years? Because the honeymoon's over, right?
Oh
But
yeah,
what's
definitely
but
so.
but what's special? What's special to you personally about the congregation?
What I love about being at Millen Baptist is the love that is shown among one another. We do have a very strong group of men and women as well, but our men's group and things like that are very active and ministry minded. And even more than that, the congregation has loved my family so very well and has shown that love and allowed our kids to grow up and see love in a church family. And in that, they also love the community very well and are very willing to try things and go and do whatever is necessary.
Now, did you have a part in building that strong men's team? Because here we are, 21st century. I think there are more men serving in churches now, but historically, it hasn't always been that way. Have you been instrumental in building that?
Yeah, it there was already a strong brotherhood. You know, those who are familiar with the Southern Baptist Convention know all about brotherhood.
Yeah.
But ever since then, we've just continued to push and strive to disciple men, knowing that if we can get our men discipled, that they'll also lead their household well, and that's the ultimate goal. And we've been able to see that well. And I mean, those men truly do. I can never say enough. They're out serving the Lord and doing and whatever they can do to lead the church.
Hey, we hear that you're loving Two Pastors Unplugged, so we want to remind you to hit the subscribe button right there on the bottom and give this video a thumbs up. And if you're an audio only, we love you. Thank you for listening to us. And you can subscribe wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. And there's a new episode that drops every Tuesday morning, so look out for that. And hey, thanks for listening. Now, back to the show.
I know that, and by the way, you're listening to Two Pastors Unplugged. I'm talking to Pastor Brad at Millen Baptist Church. The church, I think you said, was built in like 1911 or something, but it is and it seems to be, I'm only looking online, but it seems to be a quaint little town. I think population is somewhere around 3,000 something. So it's not a mega city, but it is a beautiful place, and it has its own history. If you read up on the history, you'll enjoy visiting there in Millen. You talk about outreach. Are there things? I mean, some outreach you can do it in tradition and it works. Have you had to adjust things over the last 8 years? Any fresh things, or do the old things work?
I kind of come from, I guess a non-traditional. I'm not huge into making sure we have the festivals and all those kind of things. I want to empower our people to use the gifts they have and serve where God's planted them. So what I want to see is men and women who come to church here, they have kids that play sports, go serve on the sports teams, go coach, go umpire, go do something in the community that you're good at, and find that place and love people in that spot where God has placed you. Because maybe it's just me. I feel like everybody in our church is running 100 different directions, and I feel like I'm
Yes,
running 100 different
yes,
directions, and I think everybody in the country is that way. So, which direction are you running, and where are you at that moment to serve the Lord? Because 15, 20 years ago when I began pastoring, you could host vacation Bible school and just have hundreds of kids because nobody had anything to do. And
right.
that day is different now.
It is definitely different, and I think you pinged something here because I used to be a lead pastor years and years ago, and after that, I did my time and became an associate, and I'm very, very happy at where I am in my in the ministry that God has given me. But we've had an influx of 30-sums with their kids playing sports ball and odds and ends, and what has happened is that some of the 30-somethings that were in the church, their kids playing with other kids and families, they started connecting with those families, like you're saying, serve on the team. And what's happened is we've had an influx of people that are even unchurched, and they come in. It's because of that, the way they say, good on you for realizing that, because honestly, I'm not against, festivals and all that, of course. But if you have to have a festival to draw, you're going to have a festival to draw. You're going to have a festival all the time to draw, and that's a lot
Yeah.
of work.
It's a lot of work. And that was a quote that I heard recently that says, what you win them with is what you'll have to keep them with. And that is so hard because you got to
That
always have something going, and you just wear out your volunteers.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And we could go back and say, well, it was in the olden days. You had more time and all that. But where we are in this
Yeah.
culture, and I think you're very, very wise, a very wise young man. Good for you. If you could go back, let's say 10 years. Now you've been there at 8, and then before that,
Yeah.
Kentucky. If you could go back 10 years and say to the younger Brad something, what would you say to that younger Brad that would help him, maybe prepare him, equip him in any way to lead a church?
Yeah, get to know your people. That's one of the things that I think I would keep key and learn their stories. I think we just move from person to person way too often. I did that well many years ago. I served as a chaplain in Kentucky for a while, and you sit at the bedside of hospitals and you get to learn people and their stories. And if I could have my first 10, 15 years of ministry as a pastor, I didn't do that well. And I
Hmm.
find myself doing it better now. But even I help coach middle school basketball and high school tennis and just several things in the community. And there's nothing better than getting to know everybody's story. That is absolute key. Just what's going on in their life, and that is so important.
I think that's amazing. Something that you've learned, and now we have we have youth pastors and lead pastors that watch or listen to the podcast, and I think that is one of those things, a little nugget of wisdom that you've given. I wish I knew that about 30 some years ago when I started, but I wasn't. That's not what I was taught. We were just taught.
Yeah.
That just the biblical things, and not really how to lead and how to love. You just basically had your Bible and your classes that you learned. But good on you. Well, what's next for you guys? What's next for you guys there at Millen?
Yeah, right now we just ended a season of prayer. We went through 40 days of prayer, just seeking the Lord's wisdom and guidance. And we were in that process, like all churches are, kind of in that little lull or plateaued or whatever you want to call it. And it was really getting frustrating for everybody. So we spent 40 days praying. We actually had men and women meeting at our church congregation every night for 40 days at 6 o'clock at night, nonstop. And they would spend anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour just praying and seeking the Lord. And since then, we're now going back to our leadership team and going, okay, what now? What is the Lord teaching us now? Where are we supposed to go, and what are we supposed to be doing? Our church we've lost a lot of people to death in the last probably 5 years, probably up to 50 people in that time, just because it's a senior adult congregation for the most part during that time. So that's really been hard. But we're kind of viewing it from the perspective of the parables of the soils, or just thinking about soils and knowing that how the Lord and how farmers, I guess, would go out and plant a field and get it ready. Well, there's also a period of just plowing up. And I think we've had plenty of plowing up with losing people. So now it's, okay, how do we get the field ready for another harvest? Because we know it's out there.
You have such a healthy mindset. You are wise beyond your years. I think you're a younger man than I am. You're a very, very wise man, and I appreciate you being sensitive to God's voice. And you've said so many crucial things during this podcast that I think that, and this is what this podcast is for, to help other pastors need the encouragement, some kind of direction, some kind of push, maybe, I don't know, some kind of stop and listen, because sometimes pastors can go and not stop and listen. So that's a wealth of information there. Hey, you can follow Millen on Facebook and find out what they're doing, and listen to this podcast again and glean some of this wisdom, because I think it really would be helpful. Pastor Brad, we appreciate you. God bless your family. What are your plans? You and your family going on vacation this year in the summer, or what do you do?
Yeah, well, we're gonna I'm gonna take our kids. There's 4 of them, so there's my son just started college last year at UGA, so we're all gonna take a trip now to down to Florida for a week, and then going to spend a little time in Kentucky as well, getting to see family and stuff for a week later on, and then summer's over. So it'll go so fast we won't even know it.
Go Dogs!
Well, I hadn't got there yet.
There's still time. There is still time.
That's what my church tells me all the time.
Pastor Brad at Millen Baptist Church. Pastor, we appreciate you so much, you and your family and your sweet congregation. Hey, next week we're going to have a great guest. Join us for that. Meanwhile, have a great week. I'm Rick Probst. This is Two Pastors Unplugged. See ya.
That's a wrap of this episode of Two Pastors Unplugged. But hey, don't stop here. You can click the next video and the next one and the next one. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and to the podcast, just search Two Pastors Unplugged on your favorite app. And we want to connect with you during the week. So go to @FaithTalk Atlanta, and we are everywhere across the board. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.